gotta find me somebody. I'm gonna find me somebody. Woo! Gotta find me somebody. You got what you want and now you're gone. But no, baby, fool, baby, not you, Lord. I'm gonna stay on. I got to find a true love that's really strong. Yeah. Gotta find me somebody. I'm gonna find me somebody. Woo. Gotta find me somebody. Now I'm confessing if you and I could never be. So please don't come back here. Keep trying to make us be happy. Now what I need to do, you didn't understand all that we're through. Gotta find myself a man. Oh, he's right on time till the end of time. I'm gonna find me somebody. Oh, I gotta find me somebody. I'm gonna find me somebody. Yeah, gotta find me somebody. I'm gonna find me Then you walked in and you were caught. Don't hang up. No. Oh, don't you do it now. Don't hang up. No. I used to say I love you true, but if we made a compromise, making up is fun to do. Don't hang up. 'Cause no one else will ever do but you. Don't hang up. No. Oh, don't you do it now. Don't hang up. No. Oh, you'll be sorry, baby. Don't hang up. Well, you tell me that you love me, but I think you're lying to me. You tell me that you love me, but I think you're lying to me. I don't believe a word you say because you swallow as you can be. Don't like the things you do, you go out and stay all night. And if I ask you where you've been, first thing you want to do is fight. Here you tell me that you love me, but I think you're you were in love with me, and that was fine. But then I caught you making passes at a club friend of mine. Did you tell me that you love me? But I think you lied to me. Don't believe a word you said, because you're wild as you can be. I know that I'm a fool to stand for you playing around. If I had any sense at all, I'd go on and put you down. I swear I'm gonna quit you. I say it day and night, but when you put your arms around me, everything's alright. Then you tell me that you love me, but I think you lied to me. I don't believe a word you said, because you're wild as you can be. I tell myself I'm through and I'll see you no more. But when nighttime comes along, there I am knocking at the door. Then you tell me that you love me, but I think you lied to me. Can't believe the word you said, because you're wild as you can be. Just like a swell, boy, you lied to me. Hey, you met someone who set you back on your heels. You met someone and now you know how it feels. You gave her your heart too, just as I gave mine to you. Broke in little pieces, now what do you do? Hey, you lie awake and sing the blues all night. And you think that love's a barrel of dynamite. Hooray and hallelujah, you had it coming to you. Goody, goody for her, goody, goody for me. And I hope you're satisfied to last with you. Hey, you met someone who set you back on your heels. You met someone and now you know how it feels. You gave her your heart too, just as I gave mine to you. You broke it in little pieces, hey, what do you do? Hey, you lie awake and sing the blues all night. And you think that love's a barrel of dynamite. Hey, hooray, hallelujah, you had it coming to you. Goody, goody for her, goody, goody for me. Your love has been denied, you've been taken for life. And I hope you're satisfied, you're right for you. I'm gonna walk the streets of the Lord, gonna sing and tell my story. I won't have no more when I'm here on that lost world. Help me know my sorrow, heart is running from your Lord. When I'm here, there'll be no more peace, just a glad rain. Reading after reading, oh, when I'm here, woman, and you're not always free. We can see from singing, and I'll sing, sing. When I'm here, oh yeah, oh, talk about a good time. I sing, when I'm here, what a mighty, mighty good time. Oh yes, I will. All around the beautiful floor, on that beautiful floor, Mama Crystal Street. Hallelujah. I've been ready and on it. Oh, yes, I will. Talk about time. Be slowly. Oh, yeah. I'm on Southside. I'm down when I'm talking about a good time. I'm gonna You know these words are true. But when you get what you've been waiting for, you're waiting for something new. That's how it is. That's how it be. That's how it be. Either I wait for you or you wait for me. You wait for the steam to rise before you get some heat. You wait until you're drowsy before you get some sleep. Waiting for your husband or you're waiting for your wife. Waiting. It seems you're waiting for all your life. That's how it is. That's how it be. That's how it be. Either I wait for you or you wait for me. Sitting by the telephone, waiting for the ring, looking for the mailman, waiting for your ring. Farmers wait for season, summer, winter, autumn, spring. Waiting is the thing. That's how it is. That's how it be. That's how it be. Either I wait for you or you wait for me. That's how it is. That's how it be. That's how it be. Either I wait for you. Well, the other day there was a meeting of all the nursery rhymes. They all decided to come alive and keep up with the time. They were tired of being plastered up on the children's walls. So they all jumped down and began to clown, and everybody joined the ball. They said, poor Humpty Dumpty, poor Humpty Dumpty, poor Humpty Dumpty had a fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't get him together at all. They said little Miss Muffet sat on the tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Then along came a spider, sat down beside her, fight Miss Muffet away. Then old King Cole, the merry old soul, said, what is the language today? And little Tommy Tucker, who sang for us supper, said, here are the words they say. Ooh, ooh, tutti frutti, oh Rudy, come on and swing with me. Then he said, oh King, it don't mean a thing, what's all strangers talk to me. Yeah, little Jack Horner sat in the corner. He was eating his Christmas pie. Put in his thumb and then he pulled out a plum and said, oh, what a good boy am I. Ooh, tutti frutti, oh Rudy, come on and swing with me. Bop, bop-a-loo, bop-a-lop, bop-a-loo, they all strange talk to me. I hate to see that evening sun go down. I hate to see that evening sun go down. Well, because my baby, he done left town. If I'm feeling tomorrow like I feel today, oh, if I'm feeling tomorrow like I feel today, I'm gonna pack my bag and make my getaway. Oh, the St. Louis woman, she wears a diamond ring. She pulls a man around by apron string. If it wasn't for powder, all that snowball had, that man of mine, he wouldn't have gone nowhere. I got St. Louis blues as blue I can be. I got a man with a heart like a rock cast in the sea. Oh, St. Louis, baby, look what you done come to me. If it wasn't for powder, all that stone pot had, that man of mine, he wouldn't have gone nowhere. No. Well, I'm going back to St. Louis. Back to St. Louis. Going back to St. Louis. Back to St. Louis. Going back to St. Louis. Back to St. Louis. Going back to St. Louis. Back to St. Louis. Going back to St. Louis, where I belong. Oh yeah, I'm going back to St. Louis, going back to St. Louis. Oh, I'm going back to St. Louis. Yo, woman, don't quit you, babe. I ain't trying to come back to me. I said, oh, no, that's where it's gonna be. Like a whole tree, just like a old hound dog, barking up the wrong tree. I'm telling you, baby, there's nothing you can do for me. Good morning, folks. How's everybody doing? I don't know. It's pretty air conditioned in here. How's everybody doing? How you doing, folks? It's good to see you. My name's Dandy Wellington. Thank you so much for joining us for the Galveston Island Review weekend. This our second day and a day packed full of lots and lots of events. So I'm so glad that you could hang out with us. This program, this talk, this situation of joy and music and information it's called Path to Jazz, and throughout we will talk about the history of jazz, and I'm very, very glad to be joined by this fabulous group of musicians, which will sort of bring it to life in a new way. Give them a round of applause even before they've done anything. They're amazing. So before I speak to the history, before I get into the nitty-gritty of it all, I always like to start with a particular recording. As a band leader in New York, many of the events that I produce and many of the gigs that I did, this was like the coming out of the tunnel song for me. This was like, I need to play this because at its heart, there's something so pure and beautiful about what early jazz is. And it is, of course, Potato Head Blues.
Perfect. It's perfect.
Louis Armstrong and his Hot Five, a very important recording in early jazz, and one that I mean, come on, Desert Island Tunes, like that's definitely one of them. Jazz is a music born in the port city of New Orleans towards the end of the 19th century, due to a confluence of the people and cultures brought to that city by this transatlantic slave trade. Enslaved people from Africa, the Caribbean, South America, and the interior of the United States, as well as European traders and settlers, converged on New Orleans, bringing their culture, their music, and their rhythm with them. The influences of the many rhythms and musical forms entered into New Orleans: Afro-Caribbean rhythms, spirituals, marches, and Afrocentric music genres, blended with ragtime from the Midwest and blues from the Deep South to form the building blocks of jazz. New Orleans was unique in that slaves could socialize with each other publicly, expressing native culture in a market known as Congo Square. In other parts of the city, Creole and free blacks were able to perform European music professionally in orchestras, concert halls, and opera houses. All of this was possible until the 1865 Black Codes, which was a predecessor, or a precursor rather, to Jim Crow laws, and it made it illegal for these gatherings and types of employment. These laws forced Creole musicians out of orchestras and forced them to find work other places in New Orleans. And at the same time, the city was experiencing a boom in brass bands following the end of the Civil War. So many black brass musicians who were influenced by the West African and Afro-Caribbean rhythms that were in the city established elements of jazz. They brought that brass band energy, right? That big sound. We're talking like, I mean, what James Reese Europe would take even further in World War I, and they brought it to New Orleans. And so now you have all these musicians who are reshuffling and finding their way, finding their place, and coming together and playing in small groups. So as an example of what that might have sounded like, you know, got a piano here, little drum kit there, a soprano sax player who is not playing in an orchestra anymore, and a trumpet player who just came back from fighting the Civil War and is looking for a little bit of work. I'm gonna ask the band to play something for you so you can hear it. This tune is At the Jazz Band Ball. At the Jazz Band Ball. Folks, can we give it up for Mr. Gordon Au on the trumpet, Lauren Gould on the saxophone, Chris Alvarado on the drums, and of course, Trevin Roaming on the piano. Come on. You're just sitting in some saloon in New Orleans and that starts to happen, that starts to percolate over a few months, right? Over a few years where you're hearing these different sounds come together, these different rhythms come together, and a music that has never existed in New Orleans before comes alive. Now, in order to really understand the path of jazz and the many elements that are a part of it, we have to, of course, talk about the blues. The blues is a singularly African-American music. Born of work songs by enslaved Africans in cotton fields and tobacco plantations in the South, it began as a predominantly communal music. However, it became a solo expression after emancipation, serving as a musical means of cataloging life after enslavement by previously enslaved men traveling the country in search of opportunities. Popularized and recorded by emancipated African-American women and infused with jazz, it served as a functional element, an important element of the music. The jazz is nothing without the blues. We often find that sometimes we're playing with people and we realize the blues is not present. And then that means that we're not playing. So folks, the first blues recording in history, the first blues recordings in history were made by the OK label, featuring African-American singer Mamie Smith in 1920. The biggest hit of those first recordings in that session was, of course, Crazy Blues. So here is Mamie Smith.
He don't treat me right. He makes me feel so blue. I don't know what to do. Sometimes I sit inside and then begin to cry 'cause my best friend said he's left tonight. There's a change in the ocean, changing the deep blue sea, my baby. I tell you, folks, there ain't no change in me. I love for that man will always be. Now I got the crazy blues. Since my baby went away, I ain't got no time to lose. I must find the railroad, lean my head on the track. Oh, the bus was daddy, I'm glad to get back. Now my big son and gave me the sack. Now I got the crazy blues. Since my baby went away, I had no time to lose. I must find him today. I'm gonna do like a Chinaman, go and get some hops, get myself a gun, and shoot myself a cop. I ain't had nothing but bad news. Now I got the crazy blues.
Mamie Smith. Mamie Smith. I just got to shout out the fabulously talented Catherine Russell. If you want to hear that recording in the cleanest of stereo, a great version of that is always Catherine Russell. So the interesting thing about that tune is it's not a blues. It's not a blues in terms of the blues form. There are two different things, you know, just like many words, they have different meanings. The blues is a cultural expression. It is a musical narrative. It is of a people. But also blues is a musical form. So here's what a musical form of the blues sounds like. Tin Roof Blues? The Tin Roof Blues. Your tempo. Now, that Tin Roof Blues, first of all, that tempo, that feel, it feels like the thing you need to keep your life going, but also express how your life has been. But also, there's something about that sway that is also reminiscent of something else. It's reminiscent of Sunday morning, right? Just a closer walk with thee, right? It's so close, and that is what is the connective tissue, right? It's the music, the form, but also the culture in conversation. It's life, and spirituality has always been at the core of, you know, this whole country, but certainly in the Black community, right? And so the spiritual element of things, spiritual music has always been part of the building blocks of jazz. And especially down in New Orleans is where we get that brass band culture and, of course, the secular, the spiritual music, and we bring those things together, right? So easy. Give it up for Trevin, folks. Don't do that. You're stressing me out. I'm kidding. Folks, speaking of the piano, ragtime, and its kin, stride piano. Ragtime music is a very orchestrated music that meshes well, and it meshes well with the brass band tradition. But the improvisational element of it is where jazz comes in. So, Trevin, what you got? Yeah. So as I said, ragtime was a mostly orchestrated music. You'd play it from top to bottom, and that was it. It was all on the page. But those techniques, those musical techniques, they moved up to Harlem, in Kansas City, and got in the hands of people like Willie the Lion Smith and Fats Waller and the legendary Lil Hardin and Hazel Scott. And it became stride. It became an improvisational style that utilized, I gotta just say, a virtuosic tendency. And Mr. Trevin Rowan has it. Can we give it up for Trevin one more time, folks? So another important element within early jazz and even going into swing is point and counterpoint. And of course, if we're talking about, European music, point and counterpoint is quite prevalent, Why am I speaking that way? That was weird. But point and counterpoint and the harmonic improvisation and conversation that happens between horn players is a big part of the sound of early jazz and the improvisational sort of climate in which it lives, right? So since I have Gordon and Lauren hanging out here, let's do a little point counterpoint. Your call. Oh, let me just do Dinah. Yes. F. Dinah. Dinah. F. Your tempo. I'll sing it. Sing. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. This tune is called Dinah. Chorus up front. One, two, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I appreciate it. I don't know. I'll sing it at least once. Why not? Dinah, is there anyone finer in the state of Carolina? If there is, then you know him. Go out and show it to me. Dinah, with those Dixie eyes blazing, how I'd love to see them gazing through the eyes of sweet, sweet Dinah, Dinah Lee. Every night, why do I take with fright? Because my dynamite, she changed her mind about me. Oh, Dinah, you walking through China. I'd hop an ocean liner just to be with Dinah line. Yeah. So when talking about point and counterpoint, when Lauren and Gordon were playing together, it was also very, very reminiscent of call and response, right? Which is it's a part of spiritual life. That is, you go to a Baptist church, call and response. You go to an Episcopalian church, may the Lord be with you and also with you. Call and response, and that call and response lives in our in our everyday life. How you doing? I'm doing well. How are you? Doing well. Thank you. Come on, But what? Perfunctory indeed. But there are many tunes where the call and response is built in. In that, they can do it over almost any song. They just both have to know the song, or at least have a sense of where the song might be going. And Gordon plays the melody, and Lauren plays the harmony, or arpeggiates. Good. Arpeggiate. Procrastinate. She runs up and down the scale, folks. Up and down the scale within the chord, right? Outlining the chord behind his melody, answering. But also there are tunes where that call and response, that point counterpoint, is built in, like Stomping at the Savoy. So here's that. Fine? You're whatever the normal key is. Okay, we don't have to talk about it then. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. Didn't let da 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 that to say about the day I've had that lady down ba ba do bo ba da Bodo, bodo, bodo. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Let's up with that. So, da-da-dum, da-dum, da-dum, and da-dum. Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. And da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. Just give it up for them one more time. I'm so sorry. So, in a moment, we'll open up for questions. Will, are we all right? Folks, can we give it up for Will Wright and the Galveston Historical Foundation, please? All the volunteers and custodians of the historic homes and properties on this island, keeping history alive because we can touch it and be a part of it. It's nice to be here in this bank that was built in 1920 and play this music. The vaults are empty, but it's okay. We'll be all right. So I just have to say that this music, the incredible thing about jazz is that it's like history. Everything that has come before influences everything that comes after. It's obvious. It should be obvious. But when you listen to the music and you really dig in and listen to the rhythms, the musical conversations that are happening between instruments and artists and performers, and how it influenced rhythm and blues, and then soul, and then hip hop. The idea of sampling, you know, the end of Potato Head Blues, or within Louis Armstrong's solo in Potato Head Blues, he goes da 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 ba da 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 da. The amount of musicians that do that, they just throw it in there because they're sampling. They're referencing Louis Armstrong. It's a conversation within history. The reason why we quote people long gone is because we're in conversation with history. And that history it's a building block, right? And so jazz is a music that continues to be relevant, not just because it's joyful. As an African American, it's ours. As an American, it's ours. But also because it tells us where we can go. It's always saying where we can go, which is being in conversation with each other, present on the bandstand, in communion with an audience, and always swinging. Give it up for the band, folks. So, any questions that come to mind, I'll give you a second to ruminate as we fill the space with a little bit of joy. Go for it. 100%. Tempo. Dude, ooh, perfect. Yes, go for it. Yeah, Joshua at the Battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua at the Battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. Yes, it did. The Battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua with the Battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. Zippity da table do. I did, but did don't live on door. Oh, did I'm coming around for questions. So we had a question about amplification. Amplification in music, which in my head also sometimes connects. Well, it connects with recording technology too. But I mean, listen, the amplification was whatever room you were in. That's why rooms like this are. I mean, come on, we don't have to do much. But as it connects to recording technology, because amplification, like in live situations. Oh, right. Yes. Okay. So nice. Well done. Well done. Yeah. So the amplification of individual instruments is part of their construction, right? The trumpet, before that, the bugle, it's built to be heard over long distances. The piano, this whole body is a resonance engine, drums are just loud. They're just always loud. but for those instruments that had their origins in orchestras and in concert halls, and then started to be in more jazz situations, like saxophones, like clarinets. First of all, the musicians just played them differently, right? The approach was different, and as a result, how they were heard, how they were received, and then what part they played in a band, all of those things came together to sort of make it so. I really wanted to make a Star Trek reference. I didn't do it. But there are lots of inventions that happened between the late teens and the 20s that could help with amplification in live settings. And one such very weird and totally like joyous piece of nerdery is called a clarinet cone. So it's the same concept as a megaphone, as an old school megaphone, like cheerleading, right? But you would take it, and there were little holes on the sides. So you would put the clarinet in, grab it with your other hand, and then now you can play with it.
and it's a vibe. It's really, it's an extremely large megaphone. But there are quite a few orchestras around the country that have them. Vince Giordano in New York is one. And when you have an entire reed section, all of them playing clarinet through those cones, it's a whole vibe. It's a real vibe. In terms of in terms of recording technology, early recording, wax cylinder recording, basically happened in a sense in the reverse. There was a horn that everyone was playing into, and depending on the effect that you wanted, depending on the balance of musicians for the final recording, you needed to move people in different places. So I know there are photographs of this, but if you were to take a look at an early photograph of a recording session, people are in places that just doesn't make sense. Like if you're like, oh, what about your section or whatever? They're just in physical places that doesn't make sense other than for the recording technology, you know? Trumpet players have to be all the way in the back. Louis Armstrong was in the hallway because he was it's just Louis, you know, playing so bright. So yeah, that's a little bit about that. There's a lot more. There's tons more. And we're all still like learning about it and nerding out about it with different events and different gigs and thinking about what the recordings that they did in the 50s, you know, Charlie Parker with strings or like Nat King Cole with strings. It's like where were the microphones placed? What kinds of microphones? Ribbon microphones, all these things. Like it would be, I think for a lot of us, it would be a joy if there was one single microphone above us and that was it. Because then you're hearing as authentic a sound as possible. But you know, depending on where you are, everyone needs a mic. If you're recording a certain way, everyone needs a mic and needs to be in a separate room. You know, it's a whole rabbit hole. Another question that was asked was where everyone in the band is from. So I do know this, but I'm not gonna answer that question. Gordon.
Okay. Well, I'm a New Yorker at present, but from California originally.
Give it up for California, I guess. No, California is fine. It's good.
I'm born and raised in Austin, Texas. I still live there.
This will be fun.
I'll just yell. Don't yell. Don't yell. I am from San Antonio, but I was born and raised in State College, Pennsylvania.
I'm from San Antonio.
And I'm born and raised in Harlem, New York City, and I still live there. You also got like a little bit of everyone's personality in like the most real way there. Chris is just like, San Antonio. If you are in San Antonio, Chris has a great band called the Dirty River Jazz Band. They are fantastic and have, in my opinion, a musical monopoly on swing. In that, no, they're very, very good in that town. Trevin plays in that band quite a lot, and also has a band called Trad Police, which is, yeah. It's awesome. It's an awesome name. Gordon plays, as he said, plays a lot in New York City, but he is part of a Von Trapp level family band. How many of you are there? 4, 5? There's four brothers, three brothers, then an uncle, and they all play different instruments except Gordon and his other brother, Justin Al, the great Justin Al. They both play trumpet, but they, you know, Gordon moved to a different city, so they don't compete on each other anymore. And then, of course, Lauren plays with a ton of bands in Austin, but also, what is the name of the Revelators? A great band called the Relevators, which really swings in Austin. So they're great. And that's, you know, that's a big part of this music is the community. I mean, it is a word that I say so often, but community is so essential. It is essential in just being able to exist. If your neighbor is sick, who are they going to? The other neighbor. You know, who are you going to reach out to? Learn their family. What's up? That's community. And for us, we're able to play with each other. We're able to travel to any city around this country and find people to play with because of that community. Gain employment because of that community. Travel the world because of that community. Learn new songs and get better at this whole thing called jazz because of community. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause, please. Yet again, I want to thank the Galveston Historical Foundation, the band, and there is so much more happening today. Cocktail classes, and of course, the Bathing Beauties contest. And then we'll be back here for the cabaret later tonight. Have a good one, y'all.